Lob feed inside. Livingston, reverse shot, good. Cliff Livingston now has 10 points for Wichita. 26-26 tie with 4:41 left in the first half. Darnell Valentine set to re-enter the lineup for Kansas. Tony Martin for Wichita. Shockers out with Missouri Valley, the regular season champions, finished second in the postseason tournament. Rudy Neal misses the shot. Now Carl Papke for Randy Smith. Antoine Carr, he and Livingston doing all the shooting for the Shocker ball club, and there's a foul called down inside.
You know, it would seem very obvious, at least from the defensive standpoint for Kansas. If they're going to run that 2-3 zone, they really need to plug that middle up a little bit more.
John Crawford set to re-enter the Kansas lineup. That foul was on Victor Mitchell, his first for Kansas. Tony Guy is going to take a breather now for the Jayhawks. Art Housey sits down. Darnell Valentine is back in. Antoine Carr will shoot 2 on the free throw line for the first time tonight. It's 77% free throw shooter. Has 9. This is the 5th meeting in history between the two schools. Kansas has won all 4 previous meetings, including that last meeting in 1955 when they dedicated Henry Levin Arena in Wichita. Kansas won it by a point.
Number 21, Tony Martin.
Wichita defeated Southern University 95-70 and Iowa 60-56 to get here to the regional. Kansas defeating Mississippi 69-66 and Arizona State 88-21. Now foul called on Tony Martin at the other end of the floor. First foul on Martin.
Wichita,
19 fouls against Wichita.
Wichita State's very fortunate to have Martin playing out there because he gives them a little more quickness at guard that they don't have when Papke's in there. He's a much better player. He's been averaging almost 13 points a game for this club this year. He has a protruded disc, and we didn't know whether he was going to be able to play right up until game time.
Valentine's free throw is good. Darnell now 2 for 4 at the line, 10 points in this contest. He's the only Kansas player that has scored more than 4. But the Wichita front line simply dominating Kansas. Magley has 2 points, Crawford 2, and Housey 4. Valentine scores again. I think you called it on the nose in the pregame. Well, we'll talk more about that in a moment. Right now, we have a timeout called in the Superdome with 4 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first half to score. Kansas 28, Wichita State 27. Again, 4:03 left in the first half. Here the score. Kansas 28, Wichita State 27. Larry Conley, I started to say you hit it on the nose in pregame when you talked about the power of Wichita's front line and Kansas having it in the backcourt. Antoine Carr here with 9 points. Cliff Livingston with 10, 19 points for Wichita to the front line. Kansas has 2 from Magley, 2 from Crawford, and 4 from Art Housey. So they have scored 8 among the 3 of them. Wichita has now 19 from Livingston and Carr and throw in 2 for Jay Jackson.
Shooting has been slightly off. 11 of 24 for Kansas, 45%. Wichita State 12 of 26 for 46. Kansas has narrowed the rebounding gap. They now have 11, Wichita State 19.
Ted Owens very calmly on the Kansas bench on the far side of the court looking on. Down the lane, foul is going to be called against John Crawford of Kansas. He went up to try to block Livingston's shot. Draws his first personal foul, just the 4th team foul on the Jayhawks. 3:41 left in the first half. There's John Crawford, the 6'7" senior from Kansas City, Missouri.
I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind who's watching this on television or the thousands of people who are here in the Superdome where the basketball is going to go on offense for Wichita State. And Victor Mitchell that time, Mount St. Helens, if you will, inside is simply so big. I don't know why they don't keep the ball out of there, but they're having a very difficult time keeping it away from Livingston and Carr.
Livingston hunting his 11th point. Gets it. His average 19. He's averaging 11 rebounds a ball game. Wichita State averaging 81 points a game, giving it up only 66. Free throw try short. Valentine picks up the rebound. 28-28 tie. Valentine to Mitchell down the lane.
Good pass from Valentine and a nice move by Mitchell. He showed he's got some agility for a guy his size. He stopped, went up. That's a tough shot to make, Fred, when you're going full speed and you're about 3 feet from the basket. You pull up and shoot it.
4 points, Victor Mitchell. Shot good by Mike Jones.
Basket by Mike Jones.
2 points, Mike Jones. 3:16 left in the first half. 30-30 tie. Starting to heat up a little bit, Larry. Neil Magley, he's alone from the baseline. Game 10 tie. Dave Magley gets his first field goal, his 4th point.
And Jones just threw it away.
Booty Neal for Kansas needs some help. Gets John Crawford. Turnover number 9 charge for Wichita. 2:47. There you see the time left. Victor Mitchell jams it inside and gets it jammed back. Cliff Livingston. And now Victor Mitchell fouls him. Second foul on Mitchell. 2:42 left in the first half. You're looking at Darnell Valentine.
Number 55, Victor Mitchell. That's his first.
That's Victor Mitchell, number 55.
You know, Fred, that's only the 4th foul against Kansas right now. Wichita State over the limit, shooting the 1-on-1. Let's watch it again. You're going to see Mitchell. He hardly gets off the ground right here. He gets up in the air just a little bit, and that's when Livingston and Carr came from the other side to get the basketball. He's the one who actually blocked it.
Third block this half, Larry.
Well, he's a great player. I mean, we talked about it at the top, and those two fellas inside. You can watch it this time. Everybody's going to know where the ball is going. There's where it should go. Smithson, he's had a good first half. He shot the ball well. All 3 of his field goals have been from about 18 feet against that Kansas zone.
Randy Smithson.
Randy Smithson. 4 out of 5 from the floor. We have him now. Game tied at 32. Booty Neal missing from the corner. The ball out of bounds belongs to Kansas under their own basket with 2:13 left in the first half. Art Housing returning to the Kansas lineup now. Number 54, John Crawford sits down. This game has not been an emotional game, Larry.
It really hasn't. And I think a lot of that is because of the size of this place. It really takes the intimacy away from the game. It's not to say that it is going to be a vocal crowd. It is a vocal crowd, but you've got a much larger crowd. You may have 10 or 12,000 people in here from Kansas and Wichita State, but it's very difficult to see them in this atmosphere.
Darnell Valentine threw it up off balance and threw it clear over the apparatus. Not much he could do about it, really. He cleared the backboard with it. They're going to play the Final Four here next year in the Louisiana Superdome. They're going to sell 60,000 tickets for the championship round here next year. They expect nearly 35,000 in here before this night is over. In the second game, LSU will take on Arkansas.
You see Jackson, he looks for Carr. Outside, Martin looks for Carr. Here comes Livingston across. Here goes Martin.
Tony Martin shot, no good. Ball batted around inside, and Victor Mitchell claims it for Kansas. Valentine, Booty Neal, short jumper baseline, short with a try. Neal and Housey had it for a moment. Smithson digging for Wichita. The ball out of bounds to Kansas. 32-32 tie, 1:22 left.
Tony Guy came down that time, was right at the baseline, was going to go up for a jumper, and he saw Antoine Carr out of the corner of his eye. Good peripheral vision. Gene Smithson right there was very upset with that call. He thought his Wichita State Shockers should have gotten the ball.
Darnell Valentine inside Victor Mitchell. He tried to jam it, missed it, and he's going to get a technical foul for hanging on the rim.
He got it blocked the last time by Carr. That time he was going to make sure and try to get up and get it stuffed, and that time Livingston and Carr went up for the block. He went up and grabbed the rim. You'll see it right here. Here comes the pass inside. It'll be thrown. Watch him right here. Valentine makes the good pass. He gets it, lets it go, grabs a hold of the rim.
Again, Antoine Carr was up there to change the trajectory of things. Randy Smithson hits the free throw. He has 9 points in the first half now. 1:17 left in this half. Wichita State now leading 33-32. And the Shockers with a chance to complete a 3-point play after the technical foul on Victor Mitchell for hanging on the rim.
What do you think, Fred? Pull it out and sit on it. You've got a little over a minute to play in the first half. That's what Wichita State's going to do. Pretty good offense right now. Just pull it out and make Kansas come after them. Ted Owens up, making his defensive assignments. Everybody's picked up a man. They'll go man-to-man the rest of the half.
Randy Smithson outside, gives to Cliff Livingston. 53 seconds left in the half. There's a layup there. They'll take it. Otherwise, they want the last shot of this half. Wichita State with a 1-point lead as we approach halftime. First meeting in 26 years between the Shockers of Wichita State and the Jayhawks of Kansas. Ted Owens again saying to his ball club, you can see him across the way. Go out and put pressure on him. 35 seconds. There's your clock. Left in first half play. NCAA Midwest Regional Action. Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. A magnificent structure. Later tonight, LSU and Arkansas.
I think we can safely assume that the Shockers are going to get out of here with at least a 1-point lead at halftime, and they'd love to have 3. Let's see what kind of shot they've got. We've got almost 10 seconds to go.
There you see the clock counting down. Wichita State leading by 1. Tony Martin, Randy Smithson, shot no good. Ball ball is out of bounds to Kansas with 4 seconds left. Mike Jones got a hand on it, but could not save it for Wichita. And the Jayhawks are going to get a crack at it here. They got 4 seconds on that clock.
That's a lot of time. They can get a decent shot out of this if they'll get it up the floor quickly. They need to get to midcourt quick, then 1 or 2 quick dribbles.
And it comes Valentine quickly to midcourt.
Got to go.
By Antoine Carr down the lane. Floating layup, no good. And the ball now out of bounds, and there's the end of the first half. And the score at the end of one half of action here in the Louisiana Superdome has been tight throughout the first half. Wichita led by as many as 6, Kansas by as many as 2, and at halftime, there's your score. Wichita State 33, Kansas 32. Midwest Regional, the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. The second game tonight, LSU against Arkansas. The Shockers 33, Kansas 32 at halftime. Wichita led by Anton Carr with 11, Cliff Livingston with 11, Anton Carr with 9 here at halftime. Again, there's your halftime score. The Shockers of Wichita State in front of Kansas 33-32. We pause now for a local station break. This is an NCAA Productions telecast.
At halftime, Wichita State 33, Kansas 32. We've got a second game coming up here in the Midwestern Regional later on this evening, and I have the coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks, Eddie Sutton. And Eddie, I've got to ask you the
We're at halftime here in the Louisiana Superdome with Wichita State leading Kansas 33-32. Dave Hart, the athletic director at the University of Missouri, and a member of the NCAA basketball committee here with us here at halftime. And Dave, obviously the committee did a good job in picking the 48 teams. All you have to do is look and see what's happened so far. The balance has obviously been there.
Well, I think the committee did a great job under the circumstances. We didn't say it's the greatest 48 teams, but we said under the circumstances with automatic buys and picking the best of large teams we could, that we put a good field together, and anybody in a tournament can beat anybody.
I tell you, the site we're looking at here in this Louisiana Superdome tonight is going to be the largest crowd ever to see a postseason basketball game, somewhere around 35,000. I'll tell you what, this is what college basketball is about. It's exciting in here this evening.
Well, I think it's one of the greatest spectacles in athletics, and I think this facility is tremendous. And next year, we anticipate about 60 to 62,000 people here, Fred. And as you know, tonight there's between 32 and 35. It could be maybe 40. And if LSU should win tonight, it could be gosh knows what. But it's a great facility. It's great for college basketball. And we go to, we come here next year for the finals, and we go to New Mexico, and then we go to the Kingdome and then to Rupp Arena.
Well, they'll be thrilling all the way down the line, especially here tonight. Again, 35,000 on hand. Dave Hart, congratulations to you and the committee. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Fred. Thank
Dave
you.
Hart, a member of the NCAA basketball committee. Halftime score, Wichita State 33, Kansas 32. We pause now for a message from the NCAA. Today,
Howard K. Smith.
We'll be back in a moment for the start of the second half. Right now, these messages. It's the 1981 NCAA Basketball Championship from the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans. It's the Kansas Jayhawks against the Shockers of Wichita State. Brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
NCAA basketball, the Wichita State Shockers versus the Kansas University Jayhawks, is brought to you by Card TV 3 and the Kansas State Network, and by the many fine sponsors whose commercial announcements are seen throughout the telecast. We hope you enjoyed tonight's live sports action from New Orleans, the first round of the NCAA Western Regional Playoffs.
Again, Fred White along with Larry Conley, the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans, NCAA Midwest Regional action at halftime. Wichita State 33, Kansas 32. There's the Kansas Jayhawks in the background, and here is how it happened in the first half.
And Kansas 13 of 32 for a very poor 40.6%. Wichita State, on the other hand, 14 of 30 for a little bit better 46.7. Free throws 6 of 9 for Kansas, 5 of 7 for Wichita State. The biggest thing on these stats right now is the rebounding. Wichita State leading 20 to 13. The turnovers, Wichita State has 9, Kansas 3, and of those 3 that Kansas has, Darnell Valentine has 3 of them, and that's a rare thing indeed.
About as many as he averages in the ball game. There you see the foul situation. Wichita State committed 9, Kansas 5 the first half. Nobody in trouble. Nobody has over 2. There's Gene Smithson, the Wichita coach. Larry, the one thing that has surprised me, it has been an unemotional ball game, and you would think, especially from the Wichita standpoint, after waiting 26 years, as much as they've won in Kansas all these years, that we would have seen more emotion. But both clubs have had it very much under control. Lob feed, Antoine Carr from Smithson decided not to take it. It's been a tight ball game. Smithson misses. Tip try by Antoine Carr, or rather Cliff Livingston, and he was fouled.
Let's pick up the foul again. Let's see how it occurred right here. You see Housey make the pivot and turn and go for the basket. Here go the rebounders up. Looks like the foul's on Housey. He kind of moved Livingston out with his elbow as he went through.
Second foul on Art Housey. Wichita State still has the basketball, still leading by 1, just underway with second half action. Jay Jackson from 15, no good. Magley clears the rebound for Kansas. Up come the Jayhawks. Tony Guy had a notion, pulls it back out of the circle, now works on
nice move.
There's a mismatch in size. The shot doesn't go. Guy had the mismatch set up down in the circle, and the foul is called against Tony Guy.
40, John Crawford.
Don't check it. Johnny Crawford, the second foul on Crawford. Wichita gets the ball back. 19:28 left in the game. Shockers leading Kansas 33-32.
Kansas a little more aggressive with their press here in the second half. Housey really pressuring Martin. Here's the ball out of bounds. Who gets it? Kansas.
Tony Martin just lost it out of bounds. The Shockers turn it over. It's number 10 in the turnover department for Wichita.
Art Housey, the big youngster from Bronx, New York, 6'10", really pressed Martin that time, forced the turnover.
Last night, Kansas State defeated Illinois, so 3 Kansas teams alive right now, but one of them's going to have to go in this one. Art Housey, it hung so tantalizingly on the rim, would not go, and here comes Wichita. Boy, sometimes you look back and wish you had that one back later on. 33-32, Wichita State. Martin, Smithson, Jay Jackson. Looks in a Carr. Boy, they want Livingston or Carr and not much more. That time, Tony Martin missed. Jay Jackson went after it aggressively, but knocked it out of bounds. It belongs to Kansas.
Kansas has no problem at all with allowing Jay Jackson to take that shot over there. I don't think they feel like he can make that shot. And he so far has proven them right.
Been a 46% shooter on the year. He's playing a different role as a starter now than he was coming off the bench. Darnell Valentine in and out. Jayhawks having tough shooting luck. Art Housey tips the rebound out of bounds, and now Wichita gets it back. Art Housey had one that hung on the rim, wouldn't drop. Darnell Valentine got one down that came back out, and now you look at the Kansas bench. Ted Owens in the middle.
They're really having tough luck. Kansas is on their shots. They just cannot get the ball to go down.
Mike Jones moves against Tony Guy for Wichita. 18:25 left in the ball game. Randy Smithson knocks one down for the Shockers. He has 11. 35-32 Shockers.
Smithson has done a good job against that Kansas zone. He's the one guy they can't let shoot from the outside.
Tony Guy in and out. Cliff Livingston had Smithson up court. Decided not to try to thread the needle with the pass. Gives it up to Tony Martin. Smithson.
Good pass.
Livingston with an outstanding feed, and he's going to be called for traveling. The ball goes back to Kansas. There you see Livingston's reaction to the call.
Randy Smithson really made a nice pass that time. As Livingston came inside, he's floated down to the power block, tried to get the ball up, but he walked before he got in position to make the move.
Larry, I know the people in Illinois like to say they think they have the best forwards in the country, but I'll tell you, when Livingston and Carr were both playing forwards and Jones the center, I got to think that Wichita maybe had an edge as good as the Illinois forwards were. Magley, 6. Well, who's to say? I'd like to have either set of them, I'll tell you.
I'd take this set right here. I haven't had a chance to see Illinois play, but I have seen Wichita State, and they've got a great pair right here.
I believe they're a little stronger physically, perhaps. Livingston walked with it. That's a 12th turnover charge to Wichita. Now 17:33 left in NCAA Midwest Regional action in Louisiana's Superdome. Fred White along with Larry Conley as the score. Wichita State leading Kansas 35-34. Later tonight in the Superdome, LSU against Arkansas. Valentine walked. The ball back to Wichita with 17:20 left in the game. Wichita State still leading Kansas 35-34.
Jitters really ought to be gone by now. We've seen 3 turnovers, 2 by Wichita State on traveling, that time by Valentine on traveling. He's had 4 turnovers, and that's very rare for that fine guard for the Jayhawks.
Earl Hill, call home.
We have a timeout call here in the Louisiana Superdome. 17:20 left in the game. Wichita State 35, Kansas 34.
This Bud's for the guys who got what it takes to shake, rattle, and keep on 'em rolling.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you. Preparing for the future is something.
Superdome, New Orleans, Louisiana, NCAA Midwest Regional Action. Fred White along with Larry Conley. With 17:20 left in our game, Wichita State leading Kansas 35-34. The biggest lead in the ball game has been 6, held by Wichita. Kansas led by a couple. There's Gene Smithson, the Shocker coach. His club with the basketball and a chance to bump the lead to 3. It has been a tight ball game throughout.
Kansas again throwing up that controlled press. They're just trying to find an opening to try to make an interception or a double team. Wichita State has not given them the opportunity, but about twice in this game.
Tony Martin, Mike Jones.
There it is, inside.
Livingston, that ball hit Housey right in the face. Tony Guy committed the personal foul. The ball pried loose from Livingston. Tony Guy, after prying it loose, it got Housey right in McKisser. First foul on Tony Guy.
Foul number 3.
It has been a cleanly played contest. Haven't been that many fouls in it. That's 3 team fouls on Kansas in the second half. Wichita State hasn't been called for one in this half yet.
I tell you, both these clubs have come out here just to play what they consider another game. You know, the fans probably look at it from a different standpoint as we see Livingston make his first free throw. But the players come out and they attack this game much like they do any other game. I mean, this is a Midwestern regional of the NCAA play. All they want to do is come out so they can advance to the next game.
Cliff Livingston is perfect at the free throw line, 5 for 5, has 13 points in the contest, and Wichita now leads by 3. 16:52 left in this game.
Good press. Good press.
Trouble. Now they've got Tony Guy 2-time. Here's Valentine, and he walked to the ball as he tried to shuffle it down inside to Housey, and the Shocker press putting pressure on.
Fred, that's 5 turnovers for Darnell Valentine here in this game.
And for Kansas, a total of 8. Shocker press paid a dividend. Antoine Carr, weak pass to Jones, touched by Guy out of bounds. They give it to Wichita.
Shocker's ball.
But Jones made a lazy pass that time, and it almost cost Wichita State, but they still have the basketball and a 3-point lead.
We played about 3.5 minutes, and the play here in the second half so far has been a little bit sloppy. Neither club has warmed up to the task.
Antoine Carr, in and out.
Good hustle by Martin that time. He got inside and took it away from Valentine.
Wichita starting to dominate things just a little bit as Mike Jones knocks it down. He has 4. Shockers winning the loose ball battles, and some little things that add up to big things starting to happen now.
Here comes another steal, almost. Martin, Valentine got it back.
Valentine resisted the pressure, gives it back to Crawford. He gets it.
Nice shot that time. Valentine went inside, looked back over his shoulder, and saw Crawford open. And again, that's a tough shot to pull up and take that short 4 or 5 foot jump shot.
Kansas needed those 2. Crawford got him. Here's Livingston floating down the lane. Shot doesn't go, and look at Crawford. High to get the rebound for Kansas.
Good board that time by Crawford.
Jayhawks down by 3. Magley all alone from the baseline. Missed. Randy Smithson wins the rebound battle from Tony Guy and throws it away. But we've got a foul call on Darnell Valentine of Kansas. The second foul on Valentine as they cross the midcourt.
Darnell Valentine, that's his second foul.
You know, the irony of that call is the fact that he threw the basketball away.
Yes.
He really did not have to do that. He threw the ball away just prior to Valentine jumping in front of him. Otherwise, Kansas would have had the ball. Let's watch it again. You'll see Valentine make the move. See, he stepped over in front of him. The ball was all the way out of bounds.
Wichita still has it. Smithson off the baseline. That kid has been shooting well tonight. Randy Smithson now has 13 points in the ball game.
Wichita State crowd really coming alive now.
Smithson has hit 6 out of 9 shots in this ball game. He's a 52% shooter on the year. He's the coach's son. There's Tony Guy. He answers it for Kansas. Tony Guy only has 5 points in the contest.
That's smooth. I would tell you, he is a great player.
41-38. Magley almost forced the turnover. Wichita up by 3. They have the basketball. Valentine deflected it. Picked up by Guy to Valentine. And Kansas right back at him again.
That's a big play for the Jayhawks. They got back within 1.
Now the Kansas crowd across the way getting involved in it. 14-49 left in the game, and Kansas back within a point.
Let's watch the steal here in midcourt. Guy comes up, shoveled it to Valentine. Valentine got the lead and took it onto the basket.
14-49 left in this ball game. A timeout call with the score. Wichita State 41, Kansas 40. One of the Wichita State Shocker fans. Right now, Larry Conley, you can hear 4 different things in the Superdome. You can hear Go KU, Go Shockers, Boom Creek Suey, and LSU. Boy, they are cranking up in New Orleans right now.
We get a great first game here. Wichita State leading by 1. We got 14-49 to play. It hasn't really been too good of a second half so far. Wichita State 3 of 9 at 33%. Kansas 4 of 9 for 44%. But the big factor is Wichita State's 5 turnovers and Kansas has 2 in the second half.
Emotion's starting to pick up now for the first time tonight. The crowd's starting to get involved in this ball game, so maybe this game's starting to make up. James Gibbs is in the Shocker lineup. This is Mike Jones down inside. Livingston couldn't quite get it. Tip try, no good. Great effort by Livingston to no avail. Magley back for Kansas. Whoa. Back to Housey, jumper, good. And Kansas back in front.
Jayhawks are marching. Here they come. That's 6 straight points they've scored. Wichita State has not answered.
Now Kansas starting to play with some emotion. Here's Valentine with a steal. To Magley off the baseline. No good. Rebound Livingston for Wichita. Kansas by 1. 14:07 left in this ball game.
Well, that could have been a big basket right there. If they'd have gotten that one down and been up by 3, the momentum really would have swung their way.
That was the 14th turnover charge to Wichita. Shockers attack the Kansas zone. Tony Gibbs, not a good shooter, but he hits this one. Rather, James Gibbs, I'm sorry. James Gibbs shooting only 31% from the floor for the year, but he got that one down. And Wichita back up by a point. 13:43 left in the ball game. James Gibbs, a 5'9" sophomore from Mount Vernon, New York. He's got a foul up at the other end of the floor.
Looks like Carr committed a foul against Crawford. If he did, that's his 3rd.
Foul on number 35.
Antoine Carr, 3rd personal foul. First foul on Wichita in the second half. Kansas committed 4. There's Jay Jackson, the 6'7" junior, checking back in. Mike Jones sitting down for Wichita. John Crawford handling the inbounds pass for Kansas. Inside it comes to Valentine. The basket's going to count, and Antoine Carr committed his 4th foul.
Well, that's a big play right there.
That could change the entire complexion of the ball game.
Good play. Kansas got the good out-of-bounds play. They sneaked inside. Valentine kind of weaved his way inside among all that tall timber and went up with a strong move, and Carr got him on the arm as he started up.
There's Darnell Valentine with 15 points. Out comes Antoine Carr. Boy, just about 10 seconds ago, he was rolling along with only 2 fouls. Now he has 4, and he's going to sit down with 13:40 left in the game. And that has to hurt Wichita. It's been Carr and Livingston all night long.
That's a crucial foul for the Shockers. They need him in the
Valentine got it. 3-point play for Valentine. 16 in the ball game, and Kansas leads. 44-43 Jayhawks. The Shockers have only 2 of what was their starting 5 a week ago on the floor right now. Livingston to Papke, the freshman. Big shot for Papke.
Nice layup and a good feed that time by Livingston. He got it to Papke inside.
45-45 tie now they have on the scoreboard with 13:15 left in this game. Still a long way to go. John Crawford had it knocked loose. Foul called.
Looks like Smithson got him as he started down the floor. He reached in and grabbed his arm.
The foul is on number 44,
Randy Smithson's
That's his
3rd personal foul. 3rd team foul on Wichita State in the second half. Kansas has been called for 4. Both teams have 4 timeouts left. A long way to go here tonight.
Right now, if you're Gene Smith's Wichita State, Fred, what you've got to be thinking about is, all right, I'm going to try to play this as close as I possibly can. I want to keep this game close for the next 4, 5, 6 minutes, then get Carr back in the basketball game. I'm sure that's what's on his mind, because having Carr out of there is a great detriment to their offense.
13:09 left in the basketball game as Antoine Carr sits down, and it happened. Bang, bang. He had 2 fouls, and a moment later he had 4 and was sitting on the bench.
It's really going to be crucial the way Wichita State plays here in the next 5 minutes.
Magley inside for 2. David Magley gets his 8th point in the ball game. 4:49 left now. Kansas leading Wichita State 47-45. NCAA Midwest Regional action. LSU against Arkansas. The second game here tonight. 2 of 3 Kansas teams still alive. Kansas State last night beating Illinois, plays North Carolina tomorrow out in Salt Lake City, Utah. That was Cliff Livingston trying to take it over for Wichita. He now has 15, and there's your score.
47-47, and Wichita State needs to keep it close.
Valentine,
feed.
Housey to Valentine.
That's the old give and go. That's the way you used to play years ago. The guy gives it to one man, he breaks down the middle, gets it back, and puts it in. Beautiful basketball.
They were doing that play in leather knee pads. That sometimes things don't change that much. Jackson saves it for Wichita. Kansas leading by 2. 12 minutes left to go in the ball game. Smithson, he's a good shooter, but he's too strong with that try, and Crawford clears the rebound for Kansas. The Jayhawks' biggest lead tonight has been 2. They could make it 4 right here.
Kansas beginning to push the ball up the floor a little bit faster. They sense they may have a chance here with Livingston out of the game.
Guy took it over, couldn't get the shot, and we've got a foul against Carl Papke of Wichita State. The 3rd foul on Papke, the 6'6 freshman from Wichita West, number 40.
Number 40.
Mike Jones back in the lineup now. Gene Smithson starting to juggle his lineup a lot. Papke's going to sit down. Jones, a 6'5 junior